Nick, I want to start with you with this Kevin Warsh piece, who basically saying that it's the Fed's fault that we have this inflation, but the reason the Fed is in a box is because Jay Powell is going to be really unable to raise rates because we keep adding to our growing debt, and he's going to be in a box. The debt service would be so high at that point that you're definitely going to see it impact the GDP. It all seems like a witch's brew of not great things if we keep spending at this rate.
Well, it's a vicious cycle, right? When we were at $20 trillion worth of debt at the country and the interest rates were about 2%, even I can do the math on that. We had a $400 billion tax bill. When you go to $30 trillion and they say the Fed wants to raise interest rates to, say, 6%, that's $1.8 trillion worth of interest only. So, yeah, the Fed really is in a box, but they're mostly in a box, let's be honest, because Congress put them there. If the national debt were zero, there'd be a lot more flexibility towards the Fed. Don't also discount, I don't think Kevin mentioned this, the fact that Fed is politicized now with both parties watching so closely whether or not Jay Powell got renominated and will get reconfirmed. You've got folks like AOC saying that she thinks that Biden should be focusing more on having the Fed work on racial justice. So the Fed is becoming politicized as well. But we're in the box because of the size of the debt. And this bill just adds to it. You're absolutely right. Let's say that the pre-K thing only lasts for 6 years and that another Congress wants to extend it. That means they'd have to raise taxes without giving anybody anything that's new. That never happens. So what happens is something goes in now for 6 years and then it automatically gets extended and then it's simply added to the debt. Don't lose track of the fact that the only reason many of these programs are so short and Build Back Better is that originally they were longer and they cost more. So they need to shorten them just to satisfy Joe Manchin. So there's not sort of like an intent by the Democrats to do a short-term project. They want these things to be permanent. They just couldn't afford to pay for it.
And Congresswoman, that's what I thought of when you said I don't have a problem with it. We just need to pass, or Democrats just need to pass the darn thing. Manchin is the stumbling block. And when he sees a print on inflation like we saw last week, the highest in 39 years, the difference between Virginia and West Virginia, I know they share a border, but they are different places. And he's got constituents there that notice things maybe more than some states that are bluer. And I don't, you need him. You can't just pass the damn thing if Joe Manchin doesn't got. And he's drawn certain lines in the sand that are in this bill that would have to come out, and then it would have to go back to the House. So it just seems like a hard thing to imagine before the end of this year.
Well, I do think that there are things that West Virginians do care about. They care about universal pre-K. I mean, if you look at West Virginia in terms of where it stands on education, universal pre-K would help tremendously. They care about child tax credit and the child care provisions. These are things that actually help working people. Medicaid expansion, lowering prescription drug prices. These are things that West Virginians and that Americans care about. And I do think that there is a way to accommodate Joe Manchin's concerns. Those are things that he's expressed an interest in, and to move a package forward that's going to make a difference, not just today, but in the future.
What do you, Nick, what's the timeline for you and probability for you on how this, what is it, the 13th? I was shocked it was already the 13th.
That's right. Don't forget, this is how the timeline works. It's already passed the House. If the Senate passes exactly like it is, then it can go to the president's desk whenever. That's not going to happen. It's going to change at some point in the Senate. So we'll have to then go back to the House. And I think Joe Manchin and others, it's not just Joe Manchin, there's plenty of folks, including the Democrat Party, are looking at this saying, okay, my folks back home might care about pre-K, but they really care about the cost of gas. They really care about the cost of turkey for Thanksgiving and ham for Thanksgiving. They don't really care about money for salmon, which is in the bill. They don't really care about money for news networks, which is in the bill. And I think what you're hearing from Donna, and listen, we both do it, Republicans do it when they're trying to pass a piece of legislation, Democrats are doing it now. Pass the damn thing quick so no one knows what's in it. That's what this is really all about. Yeah. What can we do over Christmas so that no one has a chance to really digest it, to figure out what they don't like in it? Look, at the end of the day, something will pass and then the voters will decide. Did they really care more about pre-K or the earned income tax credit, or they really care about the price of gas? I don't think passing this or not passing this changes the fact that Republicans take control of the House and probably control the Senate in November of next year.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.